I'm going to remove the radiator next. I was going to do tappet clearances, but I've just checked the manual and they're not due until 42,000 Ks. This has only done 35. Also don't like doing tappet clearances on something that's been sitting around because if a valve's open and it's been sitting around a long time, even more so when it's unprotected, it means that a little bit of rust and build-up could have happened on that clean valve seat and or valve, and you close it, it's still there, and you're actually checking the adjustment to that, and then as soon as you ride it and get it going and get it hot, that'll clear off and that valve adjustment will be out straight away. It'll close up. So I kind of prefer to do a hot bike or a bike that's been running for a little while, especially one that's had a nice ride and come back, and then do a tappet clearance, because I know that everything's fairly clean then. It's gone on. I'm going to actually be doing metal on metal and not something in between there. Fresh oil, everything like that makes it perform a little bit better, makes them clean up and seat up a little bit better. So if you're doing valve adjustments on something you've just pulled out of a shed or something like that, then I'll be very worried, because you probably end up doing them again, or you burn out a valve because you're doing the clearance to something that's maybe has a little bit of rust or grime on that valve seat, and you increase the clearance to try and get it to work, and then or decrease the clearance to get it to in spec, and then you ride it and then it cleans off, and that valve will then close up and then start to burn out, or if there's not enough clearance there, and you're chasing a tune problem that you don't quite know why. And I say, oh, you've got to do valve clearances. Oh no, I didn't when I rebuilt it, or when I put it on the road. Well, you know, you've got to do it while the bike's clean and running properly. You're chasing a problem that you may have caused. So prefer to leave it, assess it when it rides, and if I've still got a problem with a dud idle, then might do compression test and check valves. But at least I know that whatever I'm checking has been cleaned off and seated. We have to remove the radiator just to get to the spark plugs on this bike, so they're supposed to have been done every 12,000. A lot of these radiator bolts don't look like they've ever been out, so I might pull these plugs and we'll see how we go from there. Doesn't look like too bad of a job anyway. Well, because of all the fairings are off and everything else is off. And more coolant. Just for fun. There is no drain on the bottom of that radiator, so it's just going to keep coming out. It sounds like it's actually getting into the container. Amazing. close it might have come out. And yet more cords. If you're just doing the plugs, you could probably leave it like this. I want to take that radiator guard off and give it a clean. Get it back to shiny. I think it's stainless steel and it's just rusted. A little bit of a brush up and it will be fine. Okay. Just got a little earth wire on this side that's screwed into the radiator with a little Phillips head, and it wouldn't move. So I grabbed the snap grips, just a pair of snap grips, and give it a bit of a lever with it, cracked it, and it turned and then undid it with the screwdriver. And that's out. And yeah, there's more coolant. There we go. Cool. I'll just have a look at this. Yeah, I reckon it's all clean up. It is metal, it's not stainless steel. Which is a bit silly, but anyway, it's what it is. It's got a pop rivet in the middle. Looks like a pop rivet. Anyway, yeah, that's a bit strange. But anyway, it's definitely aftermarket. They're tech screws into the bracketry here and here. Little tech screws, tiny little ancient tech screws. So I might have to just put that into a container where it'll clean the paint off and then paint it afterwards back to silver. here for. Ah, one of those as well. It's in. This is extra. I don't know why it's here. It's been extended. It's actually going to one of the coils. Just clip that. Like that. Just clip that thing. It goes nowhere. Comes off one side of the coil, goes down, loops back. To the same side of the coil. It's definitely non-genuine. The other coil has 2 wires on it and this one has 4. Why? Someone wanted maybe power for something. Someone's put power in for something. Jesus. Doesn't go to earth though, it goes to one side of the coil. Yeah, that's strange. Anyway, it doesn't have to be there. I wonder if it had something to do with some sort of alarm or something like that. It's been soldered into the actual terminal on the coil. And then just loops down. Got another bracket here, I can show you a little bit better. And just loops around, goes back. Comes off the terminal on the coil, and then loops around and goes back. Go figure. Give a quick blow around these plugs, although they're not deep sockets. Let's see if we can get one in there. Now, for the same reason I don't do tappets when they're first pulled out of a shed. Also don't like doing compression tests. For the exact same reason. Do a compression test on an engine that's been sitting around. Is it going to have compression? No, it's not. Or it's going to have too much, or it's not going to have enough. Because the valves are not going to be seating. It's just silly. It's all been run. Piston rings would be dry. A myriad of reasons. It's a really close fit. Those type of things. Everything looks good. It's spinning over. You know, it's a judgment call. Turn it over. It's been sitting out in the weather and you pull plugs out of it and the friggin' things are rusted in there, and you might get a bore scope in there before I move it, just to make sure that you're not pulling the piston or dragging the piston across the rusty bore. You know, again, with these people who pull things out of sheds, and start, oh yeah, can we get it to run? Yep, sure. But what sort of damage have you done to it by doing that? I bet you've done your reversible damage, and you're going to have to rebore it and do pistons and stuff on it, especially rings and stuff like that now. I'd rather know, like a bore, bore scopes are fairly easy to get now. If a thing won't turn over nice and freely, well then you're just ruining it anyway. And to be honest, it's ruined anyway, so you might as well, it won't come out with the extension on, you might as well bite the bullet and say, yeah, look, it's cactus, and they actually look pretty good. I just can't find anything wrong with this bike at all. Half tube friggin' coolant hose, and there's been nothing else at all. This one doesn't want to come out. Let's turn it. Here we go. Aha. Corrosion. Corrosion on number 3. That's why I didn't want to come out. and 4, just on the outside. Now they're all the same. It's good. One's good, nice and clean. Two's good. There's got a bit of damp on it, just from when they're sitting there. No oil burn. 3 and 4 are just rusty on the outside. A bit of corrosion. And 4. Do check that they're all the same. So many times I pull plugs out and they're one different. Ridiculous. I mean, it actually looks like, you know, I'll set them up so you can see. Well, it's not too bad for a day's work. There's not much else to do to the engine other than get it reassembled. You've got to do the carburetors. Even looking at those, I'll be just taking the float bowls off and we'll go through those and we'll see how that goes. Just thought I'd do a recap. Plugs are out. Radiator's off. We've taken the generator off, which looks discoloured. Having to do so, we had to take the water pump off and the pipe end. Took the starter motor off, took the opportunity to take the starter motor off. That's the hole up there for the starter, just to do the O-ring, which could guarantee that I'll go down the road and the freaking thing will start to leak on me and I have to do all this again. Sprayed a bit of DG in there. DG is degreaser. Just a water-based degreaser I got. Let that soak up. That's the electrical wires and the connectors for the gear selection and start-stop for neutral. The carburetors are out. We're going to figure out what this wire is for. As I was saying before, you probably couldn't see, it's just goes in one way, goes in one, goes straight up, loops around and comes back out and goes to the same place. Been thinking about it, maybe it was an induction wire for the for a timing light. Why would you need that like so many times? I just can't think of why you would need it. I don't know if it's on the power side of the coil or it's on the inductor side. We have socks in our intake runners. We've done as much as to the cooling system as we want to do. Found no broken wires, bad connectors or anything like that. It's all in good shape. Just zip around the other side. Not much happens on this side. The clutch was one thing I was thinking about doing, but coming across the rest of it, I might leave it because it's quite easy to get to. It's quite an easy clutch to replace. worst comes to worst, I have to take one fairing off, and just take that cover off and do the whole clutch system on its own. There really isn't a lot else to do to the engine. What I do want to do is fork seals, because you can guarantee they'll leak. And we'll get the rear suspension joints just apart, so that we can make sure that all the needle rollers and everything are intact and don't need any servicing replacements, and or the swing arm. So there's quite a bit of work to do in that, but I don't think I want it apart anymore at the moment. I'd rather get all this back together. I'll clean up all these parts, we'll get it back together, we'll get it to run, and then we'll worry about doing suspension